Green tick, green
Fake
tick.
Snowball, by the way, one of the teams in better contention to take second place in this event.
Alright, so here comes the cavalcade of Xiaobu's. CJ on Xiaobu and our our team in the lead also on Xiaobu here. Jen on Hamster. As we see people, concentration mind for Mono Earthling Yuan. Perhaps. Mastery of Crash Fist. So it looks like we are going to be running back a Crash Fist strategy here for this Xiaobu. My fate, my choice. Jet and still on the selection screen. Sure. Take Snowball. You do you. My choice here.
That's the play.
And Urban Metal Spirit. Gotta be happy to see that on Tiger.
So I think Fake Snowball is, if you look at that board, that's a very brazen declaration that they don't care at all what happens in the first two rounds, and they want to start playing on round 3, tier 2, doom rolling for Kaka Poisonous and for Stillness. So I very much think this is going to be a Formation Master HHH game for that.
Fair enough. Well, Incessant normal. Not quite getting there. Not quite taking max there. Which is a win in its own right, I suppose. The two Five Elements players staring each other down. Alright. As expected, we are setting up for this. Have a quick look at our scoreboard. So Elixirous Shabu, Elixirous.
It has to be Elixirous Lingwan, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
so
you wouldn't take Formation Master if you were on Concentration Mind. You wouldn't be able to come up with the Echo form with any reliability anyway. So they sort of locked themselves into Overcome with the Fate Branch choice. Which is, not an unreasonable call, but it was what they did, so they kind of had to follow it up Elixir.
Right. So yeah, mostly Elixirs here. Formation Tanchuan and Painter Woods. These are our only two non-Elixirs in the lobby. Double Elixir Xiaobu, which leads me to think we're going to be seeing a lot of Crash Fists this game. Perhaps less of the infamous musician Xiaobu that we all know and love.
Well, definitely the way to get the edge in the mirror match if there's another Xiaobu is to not be the musician player, right?
Yep.
Nothing stops you from taking your Unwavering Soul just because you're not planning to play it. So if you're just playing Force Fist Xiaobu, Elixir, you just jam that tier 5, you cannot lose to someone who decides to run the musician board.
Also, I think an interesting pick for Elixir Xiaobu for our Silk Sword player is the Elixir Xiaobu boards, particularly something like the Xiao Blue boards, are very, very good at top 4ing. They struggle a bit to close it out a lot of the time, but if you're in such a huge point lead, average finish is fantastic. You would sign up for that every single chance you get.
Yeah, I mean, they deterministically defeat most teams just by getting like a 6th place or something.
So I think it's that might be factoring into the decision some amount as well. It was interesting that they chose to take a Fortune over their tier 2 as well. They're very, very uninterested in making physique. They're purely here for the Crash.
If you're gonna get one card for cultivation, there's some live hits. Lonely Nightwolf is an extremely strong card on Don Juan because of how it interacts with the physique mechanic.
Well, it's interesting you say that. They don't
actually have physique to do that, but
it is interesting you say that because that is the treasure they drew and they absorbed it last turn. I think at 0 physique it is certainly a bit worse. I don't know that I would have had the the fortitude to immediately absorb it, though. It feels like such a strong card.
So I'm not going to make a claim that this is correct by any stretch. But my inclination would have been to hang on to it till tier 3 because I expect to be playing Exercise Bones anyway. Not for the physique, but just because it's a pretty good card for Xiao Blue.
Yeah.
So that would have been my thought, but I have no way to know what works out better, what's the winning call in the average case.
So seeing the Heptastar players face up here, Xian and Fake Snowball. And staring down a board that
exactly the board Titania said, do rolling for Kaka Poisonous and Stillness Siddhartha.
Very much so. Well, Asha was here rounding on tier 3. CJ, not agree that locked a Soul Cleaving, so definitely at least interested in going in that direction. We have picked Marco Dark Card. Okay, we're deliberating on this choice. I see. You know, that's I guess you have literal 0 physique. Okay, Unbound she's pretty bad with actual 0 physique. I was gonna say, I feel like her tier 3 affords you so much value on her.
If you're throwing away Lonely Night Wolf, I think commit to the bid at that point.
Just our physique cards are dead to us.
It doesn't make sense to get rid of those large early game physique payoffs and then take a different one, right? If you're gonna get rid of some of them, reap the benefits of being able to never collect physique.
Well, the good playing around the Exorcism Elixir, pushing this Kaka Poisonous all the way back to make sure it doesn't get picked up by the random Elixir floating on the board. Affords Fake Snowball to win that.
It was actually pushed back farther than it needed to. They were very conservative, but they still took the win, so
yes.
Reasonable call in.
So CJ here starting to put together the board of blue cards. Holding onto a few holdouts here. Still, this is a pretty awkward spot to be in where you have to play a bunch of kind of junky cards to build up your physique. Yeah, Exercise Bones is fine. Tendon starts to drop off a little bit here. Ceasing Exercise, obviously a pretty low impact card. It's a pretty big deficit to make up, but certainly not impossible. I think the trick is, in this spot, you have to decide what you want to do. I feel like the worst outcome for a Shabu in this spot is you put a bunch of physique cards on your board and then you lose the fight before you play all of them. When you'd be better off either losing the fight and playing all of them, or just not playing them at all and actually winning the fight. Ling Yuan here looks like she's gonna give CJ enough time to play at least some of them, but that could easily have been like a fletch, right? And then CJ dies before playing either of these cards. As it stands, small loss plus physique, not too bad. So CJ's life total is a little bit low.
This Lingwan board does not naturally move into an overcome board, I'm sure. It's not that it couldn't get there, but the transition is not as natural as some things people might set up. So I'm a little interested what they're gonna do. Right now, they seem to be doing great at winning all their fights, but I don't realistically think that just Earth as a strategy is likely gonna contend when they had to play Elixir. Their Fate Branch locked them out of a potential Echo form, or anything like that.
We have a few sort of hints, right? We have a locked Ironburn, we've kept this Spring, we've picked up Neutral Growth over additional side jobs funding with Concentration Mind. So it looks like we are erring towards, like you said, an Overcome, potentially Spring line.
Okay. Yeah, they're
流烟可
holding
不是
cards
妾
to
身
hedge
人群，
between
想
between your usual fragrant based overcome or world smash
Yes,
is my read.
I think so too.
They're planning to get onto something at tier 4. They'll wait and see what they do.
Yeah, the kind of classic, overcome special. Which is to say, just do whatever works. Do whatever you can play with your cards. Just playing a bunch of cards, usually pretty rough against a card like Flame Flutter. Not too bad a loss there. CJ gets caught out playing Exercise Bones and Majestic Chi here. And our Silk Sword player also takes a loss here as well. Alright.
Majestic Chi is a little rough because they're not really capitalizing fully on the card yet. Right? They're not spending all of that chi. They're certainly not playing a card like I think it's called Mighty Force is the usual cash out of that DX players look for.
Yeah. Alright, it's overcome time. Let's build that board.
Oh, we are in the overcome struggles. Bring Forest Guard. What a combo.
it's not quite what you want to spend your spring on. Oh no, don't do it.
Well, wait.
Oh no.
We maybe could have done this with
妾身有礼，
Ironbone Scarlet Flame if you overcome into wood formation.
Do you see it, Titania? Do you see the issue? Here it comes.
They have not added HP.
They have not added HP. The game would simply be dysfunctional if Forest Guard was allowed to just work by itself.
Yeah, the horror.
It
I
might
do
be-
think like overcome Ironbone, overcome Wood Form, and then you could play what? Forest Guard, Bud, the Scarlet Flame. You need a couple other cards to pad that out in there. You might run a normal in the middle.
It's
But
okay.
It would add HP for the Forest Guard. It would,
It's okay. Wood Spirit only chases gets the job done with its post-action chase. Ooh. X-Noble has a real Brocade Rat, which is a pretty scary card on a character that already kind of chills their way up to tier 5. CJ finding more pieces of their Crash Fist board. This Wurzer board looking pretty good. We are once again on Act Underhanded. There are 2 Drag Moons, the upgraded Lake Hex, upgraded White Snake. You'd like to find more copies of some of these cards, but it's a fairly good position to be in at this stage of the game. And hitting the double Former side with a bunch of hexagrams to back it up. Our Omen of Metal Spirit Tiger picking up that locked shuttle. They'll have a tripod coming on round 15 if they get that far. Our Overcome board. Huh.
妾身
Interesting.
有礼，
Really valuing the World Smash there. We're still not chasing with this Forest Guard. This Forest Guard is doomed to second cycle. We are upgrading it though. So there is that.
Sometimes you just gotta get in the 4 damage, I guess.
This cliff does line up pretty well. Looks like that's actually going to be enough. There's just not having a turn 1 damage card there for the Wurzer proving to be fatal.
Wow. As much as we're memeing on some of these Link 1 boards, they are just barely getting there. And I mean, they're making the best out of some
awkward draws.
Yeah, and unfortunately they got rid of the Scarlet Flame, so they can't just put in a good fragrant-based overcome anymore. They need a fire card for that to work.
Yes, exactly. Alright, that's a fire card. Are we doing it? Are we fragrant now? It looks like we're fragrant now.
Yeah, it sure does.
And not a bad time for it either. Because going up against G function, a scaling board like Overcome does a lot of work.
Blast has to go before set. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. They need to put a card in though. Their chi situation's a bit awkward here. This is gonna be a second cycle sharp activation. Which is, you know, that's okay. You could do worse. Man, watching.
Well, though, they are not eating the contents of their hand like they will. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well,
Yep.
又来一个纠缠。
There it goes, right on cue. Yeah,
double caster cursed in the same round. Jeez.
This is a pretty good mutual growth actually. We upgrade the blast.
Yes.
Senpai saying unironically, look at the power of this board. No sarcasm here.
I mean, I do think it's in good shape to take this one, right?
I think so. This
Now
G
that
function
the-
board. This G
Now
function
that
board
the
is
sharp is active. it's,
yeah, and this G function board's kind of missing a lot of the infrastructure that you sort of want here.
Well, it's also just clicking block over and over into these forest guards.
True. We took regenerating body on 3, which is a little less good than it once was, but still a pretty good pickup once you're skipping his tier 3. Tension has broken through and is still playing Rat. And winning with Rat.
I mean, chat would have some things to say about that had they not, right? Like, they know who they owe this game to. They're not gonna give up on him like that.
All right, CJ's Destiny Total looking a little bit rough, facing down. This is, you know, just classic Overcome, first guarding into Heartfire. Not
So
enough
it's
chi to play
classic
up.
Overcome,
Right.
but with one hidden buff that it's easy to miss,
Mhm.
which is that they're on Concentration Mind. Assuming they have just been eating the elixir card every round and rolling with the remaining 2, which is what I've seen as
Mhm.
in the spans we've watched them, their card pool is a lot narrower than it otherwise would be, and is going to continue to get narrower at a faster rate than other players will. So they're just more likely to produce more hits for their Overcome board as the time goes on.
I'm pretty sad to see us Echo Formationing Hunter Hunting Hunter here instead of Brigade Rat. I think
只
this
不过是修
is
行路
this
上
is cowardice
又一场历练罢
from
了。
Fixed Ball. I would like not even playing the Rat, let alone Echo Formationing it. You can go Rat Echo Formation HHH and then then you get to echo it twice. You're Tanchian, you know, you this is what you live for. You might not even take 27 damage here.
Yeah, I mean, you are intended to get to 1 destiny, right?
Exactly.
Surely you want to speedrun that so that you can hit your real power spike.
That's, you know, in my limited understanding how Tanchion works. See, you lose the fight and you don't draw 3 cards. Like, what's even the point? And CJ has now used their Undying Body, so this is looking pretty dire for them.
So what we really want to see is a board that's ideally we would have like Rat in slot 1, and then we would echo the Rat, and then we could strike twice some other card into HHH, so that when it comes back we strike twice the echo.
Yes. That
Yeah.
I think you've solved it. I think that is what we want to see. CJ here trying to make this work. Resurrection X is probably not the card you wanted.
They haven't even gotten to their target 1 destiny, so, maybe they've thought better of it now and are playing the rat? No.
No.
Big sad.
Extremely sad. Pretty stratified
Ooh.
lobby with the 87 at the top, 3 at the bottom, and pretty good spread in between.
Is Echo HHH really where you want to be against these debuff boards?
Echo
I know
Anthemania.
it's nice that they... Echo Anthemania. I know that they inflict their own attack down.
Well,
But,
CJ was
Soul
playing.
Cleaving hurt.
快开始吧！
CJ was playing a Crash Fist board until this turn, I think. I don't think they had the Shura, so they might be blindsiding fake Snowball here with the Soul Cleaving.
Let's hope, because if they're not, then CJ is going to wind up with an 8th, and a tie between 7th and 8th for this final phase of the event.
I hope they can pull it out. It'll be interesting. Like, their cards are very, very unupgraded. The low base damage of the Soul Cleaving means that the decreased attack is charging it up is a little bit less exciting than it might be otherwise. But we have a lot of debuffs on us. It did run into guard up there, which also not ideal. I think Shabu's tier 5 might just get CJ the win here. Just having that little bit of extra HP buffer so that these internal injuries are not so bad. Even though we did slam into that guard up multiple times, we managed to...
It looks like Soul Cleaving hits every cycle, into the guard up.
But good enough. Good enough. So Willow Leaf pick up for our Ling Yuan. This blast now gets maxed by neutral growth. Really wants to find an upgrade to Fragrant though, because this upgraded Blazing Prairie is burning a hole in our pocket instead of our opponents. Well,
I believe there's time, right? They're on 68 Destiny, and again they have Concentrated Mind working for them.
Tiger is 2 rounds away from an upgraded, from drawing a tripod guaranteed. This matchup, well, this might be a case where Tiger just gets to unload their damage multiple times because the damage on CJ's board is pretty lacking. Which might mean even
Tiger
if this...
does have the Kunwu Metal Ring upgrade online, right?
Yes.
They just got it like last round.
Yes. And
Okay.
a full chase setup if they want it, which looks like they're opting not to. This Combined World Charge being deployed strategically to play around bearing the load Soul Cleaving. Which... it's an interesting line. If you get it wrong, you end up effectively entangling yourself for 2 turns. Because you are now not chasing, and then you still walk into the entangle. I think the way
They only take 1 turn off of chasing there, so they actually can't get it right around bearing the load Soul Cleaving.
Right. The best way to deal
There
with
is no
entangles...
timing.
Yeah, the best way to deal with entangling is generally to just run into it, unfortunately.
Either run into it full-hearted, or just don't chase at all.
Yeah.
Right? This half and half approach can get you punished so severely if the timing shifts. To be clear, I don't think they are taking a half and half approach on this. I think they're just, running a good combination of cards. Combined worlds into charge.
Well, CJ's board just not having the damage to finish off Tiger there, so unfortunately that is them out of the lobby. Rough tournament for them. Unfortunate to not see them turn it around. And meanwhile, HHH Tanchion, the Juggernaut, is fully online here. So seeing a couple of people facing the end of their tournament here. So Tiger's on their last legs, though. Metal's matchup against Overcom usually comes down to defensive cards and whether or not you have a tripod. Obviously here, you have to spend multiple turns cycling through.
Well, it looks like our Ling Wan player does have the Ice Guard elixir. So that's sort of the key card that can swing this so much.
Yes.
And that's particularly fortuitous for them. Remember that I've been parroting the concentration mind effect, narrowing their card pool a ton, getting them exactly the hits they need. That's only true for the non-elixir cards. For the
True.
elixir cards, they need to YOLO it and get outrageously lucky to have that thing.
I'm okay. I have been getting a little bit anxious about some of these overcome boards not quite snapping into place while I was looking at them. But good to see we're getting there here.
Pokolo does point out, yeah, we are weirdly seeing Heartfire go off before Prairie against the Don Juan player.
I have great news. This one has no physique.
No physique.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
sorry, the physique Xiaobu was the eliminated one.
Unfortunately, it is small amounts of defense Xiaobu, which is the natural predator for Heartfire. But
Heartfire still got about 1.5x damage.
Yeah.
Not that it ever will again.
I mean, our cards lined up very well against the Silk Sword Xiaobu here, so it looks like we get to take this one down. Draw back on this. Oh, they did not take their cheat death. They are eliminated.
That is wild to me because their team can just walk in a first place.
Yeah.
They get, fairly every placement above 8th makes it like so much more unclosable for everyone.
Definitely. So
I mean, what did they finish in 7th there?
Yeah. I just having a quick look through. Unless this Tancheon loses, it's a tied. It's a outright 7th. And I don't think this Tancheon is losing.
Like I said, 6th place was what was needed to lock out the first against the most remaining team.
Well, I don't think they get it. This looks like this is Tancheon's victory here.
Just by max HP from the Great Spirit.
Woods' HP is now actually going down as the decreased attack stacks up. We don't need to see this. So yeah, the two Xiaobus, 8th and 7th. So, I mean, if you want to keep the tension in the game, that is one way to do it. I didn't even notice that this was a Tool Governor pick over the cheat death.
Nor did I. It's definitely a pretty out there choice when it takes so little to walk in the win.
I think not taking the cheat death, it's always memorable when someone doesn't take Xiaobu's cheat death, and I feel like it's often been memorable because it's paid off, but here it's memorable in the other direction. It would have been really good to have an extra round with 4 people on lethal amounts of destiny damage.
So I have a mechanics question for you. I think for chat as well, perhaps someone knows, but I know you've played Xiaobu considerably more than me.
Mm-hmm.
How does her cheat death ability interact with her tier 1 ability? If I am on 1 destiny with my cheat death still live, and I get hit for 28 destiny damage but lose none thanks to the cheat death, do I still gain 4 exchanges via my tier 1 ability?
So I haven't verified this recently, but my understanding is you get it as if you took the full amount of destiny damage. So I think it interacts very favorably. I could be wrong about that. I know the mechanics have changed a little bit around how her cheat death works a couple of times, but that's always how it's worked with other characters as well. Like if you overkill people with Yanchen and stuff, or if they kindness tune you as Yanchen, you get the full benefit for your Flames of Life. So I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
I believe you. I didn't know. My evaluation has always been that how strong of cheat death that is depended wildly on that aspect. Because I'm not impressed with gaining physique and physique cap, but I am more impressed if it's also giving her the exchanges.
Bunch of exchanges, yeah. So unfortunately the end for Xian, not able to overcome the Anthemania spam, and we also saw Wu's fall as well. Replay that, and these are going to be the Tiger experience. Tiger now having that tripod to get the kill, as we said. The omen of Metal Spirit, meaning that if they got this far, then they were always going to be able to get the guaranteed tripod.
Yeah, very amazing to be able to take a guaranteed shuttle on 4 and then hit tripod for sure in 15 if you can limp far enough.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we have a pretty classic predicament here for our G-Function player of you want to play Soul Cleaving, but you do not have Chi. Very, very common issue. Solving it in a pretty novel way of using the Crash Footwork Subdue Dragon setup, but yeah, if you expect this fight to go, well, maybe not that long, but you would like to be able to play your cards multiple times. It's going to be a bit of an interesting one. I think you have to expect that Fake Snowball here is going to go back to the HHH board if you've scouted it out. How you actually adapt to that, though, is, you know, maybe easier said than done.
I like the call they've made. I do agree with you that assuming I've been watching all my opponents round around, I know they have the cards. I'd expect them to go back to Echo HHH, and I think that the longer that matchup goes, the more likely you are to lose it. So I do like this shot at just bursting them out first cycle. Hope it gets there.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Soul after Demon Breaking Palm. The theory is that they want to cleanse the 4 debuffs. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. That the extra attack up might be more relevant. Because here it's a clean, you know, you have 4 debuffs, you play this for 4, but I guess the Exercise Soul could have just gone first and chased anyway, so it doesn't make any sense. It's a slight sequencing error.
Yes. It's pretty marginal. Just 3 damage, but could maybe be the difference.
Not quite. I don't think the Soul Cleaving's got the damage on it. So I think Fake Snowball here gets to walk away with it. That 23? I think it is. Exactly. And then here, our Tiger defeats Ling Yuan. So it's Ling Yuan, Tiger, and Ten Xian for the top 3.
So despite the damage being exact, the way the HP thresholds shook out on that, doing the additional 3 damage from sequencing correctly actually would not have saved 1 dust.
Right, okay. So almost. But not
yeah,
quite.
they were dead regardless.
Yeah. Alright. Here we go. We have 2 people fighting Ten Xian here. Tiger for real, Ling Yuan fighting the ghost. Pretty scary board to be staring down as either character. Looks like a Ling Yuan here trying to do maximum burst, deciding if we combine this overcome.
Tanxian is keeping quite a lot of cards in hand. They can afford to do that and still go first.
This is a late game Ten Xian that has also had Brigade Rat in play for at least a couple of rounds.
Yes, just they actually don't have enough cards to eat in order to draw into a potential upgrade. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. It's gonna be a lot's gonna be riding on this escape plan for the Tiger matchup. This matchup...
It's actually somewhat surprising how unupgraded this Echo HHH board is.
It's a
It's a
level
little
1.
tricky for Xian to stay on tier 5 with cutoff mundane this long and
Yeah.
not hit more upgrades than this.
Also another slight sequencing issue here. I think you
Yeah,
want the
the
upgraded
echoes
one.
should be transposed.
Yeah, which may matter. Interesting we decided to combine the shuttles. I guess we want to make sure that we don't just die to the block from escape plan. But it does mean we take a whole extra turn to get back to our tripod if the fight does go that long.
I think the Tiger player knows that if they're not getting a kill in the first cycle, they're losing, right?
Yeah, that
That
does make a lot of
has to be the
sense.
case.
Alright, do we get there? I think the lack of upgrades just barely makes it not enough. Not having a second level on this tripod means we just barely don't cover it. And now we get eliminated. This matchup, on the other hand, is looking much worse for the Xian. Okay, we have Ling Yuan against Xian here for the last round.
Go Ling Quan, my favorite character.
We found an upgrade for the Willow Leaf, so our board is looking pretty good. This is the sort of board that I don't think you, I don't think this wins, right?
Also, impressively, we have upgraded Overcome into Max Fragrant. Generates the most attack up you can out of the Fragrant.
Yep.
And the upgraded Willow Leaf into the Heartfire. It's quite a board here.
So the concession we made to win this fight last
你
turn
他的
was
方位
uh
可躲不过我的羽扇。
that suddenly popped up. I think I guess the Xian won it. I did not push
Well,
any
the
buttons.
fight's playing behind, so we'll see in just a moment if you just leave this on screen to be
I
screened
guess
out.
not. That's disappointing. It's
Oh,
not gonna let
okay.
me. It's not gonna let me look at it. Unfortunate. That would have been good to see that last round.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer.
I guess I must have been slightly behind from watching some of the watching a couple of the battle fights. I must have had to push a button to refresh it.